and around the nation. This is Sports Blitz Live. Now, we're talking sports. It's time for the Saturday Sports Countdown with Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson. Auburn, Alabama, around the SEC, and around the nation. This is the Saturday Sports Countdown. To be a part of the program, call 256-234-6221. Now, let's join Brett, Randy, and Luke for the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Today's so big, sometimes you need two introductions. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, Michael Forehand back there running the board for us this morning. We're glad that you've joined us because it is Iron Bowl day. But Randy, we you know what you and I are about to talk about for at least 25 to 30 minutes was the unbelievable landscape of high school football in this state last night. If you happened to sleep last night and didn't catch any scores, you're going to be in for a treat here in the next 2 seconds.
A lot of shockers out there. Some of the games that you kind of hope live up to the hype, they did last night. And I want to start with that Austin and Pinson Valley game. Brett, that could have been a state championship game.
Should have been. I hate to say that because there's some really good teams in the South, but that's what you and I, we long for right there is a 51-50 type game that goes into overtime.
Well, that have two of the top prospects in the Southeast.
That's right.
Asa Martin, who put on a show last night, especially in the first half where he had about 190 yards rushing on 8 carries and had, 3 touchdowns. One of them are multiple 60-plus yard touchdown runs. This guy is a game breaker. And then you got Bo Nix, who's the son of Patrick Nix, putting on a show on the Pinson Valley side. And everybody's going to want him. Everybody did want Asa Martin. Auburn's got him committed currently. Look, until the dotted line is signed, my friend, we have seen things change around in recruiting for a long time. Until that final day comes up, then I don't count my blessings by no stretch.
What is the rule now? Again, correct me on the new early signing period in December. Can you go ahead and sign in December?
Luke, you're not talking to Luke.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't know what guys can do. I'm going to look that up here in just a minute. But Asa Martin, look, we're going to talk Auburn and Alabama with prospects everywhere. Auburn, though, Randy, prospects showed out last night. If you look over at Pickens, for Hoover, and some of these, I mean, my Lord, Auburn and Alabama both continue to it's just like a mill of just recruits that just keep rolling in for both sides.
Well, and Alabama's been in the thick of things for, 9 out of the last 10 years, where they've at least been ranked number 1 at some point in time throughout the season. Auburn as well has had their ups and down moments, but you've got to have these players here, and a lot of them coming from this state.
They are.
To be as competitive as we are on the national landscape. And, Brett, when you're watching those football games last night, you go, there's no question in my mind why we continue to year in and year out be right there at the top. Now, Auburn's got to jump over into Georgia, and Nick Saban's taking this thing nationally. I mean, he has put on something that
Michigan,
that we may never see again with what he's been able to do legacy-wise there at Alabama. But for Auburn, you've got to at least look and hope that we can continue with some type of consistency because the recruiting this year maybe is about as good as I can remember, especially out of the state of Alabama.
It is. And, the thing about Auburn, on the Auburn side of things for recruiting, with the 2 commitments they got on Thanksgiving Day, that moves them up to like 12th in a couple of the different rankings. And I think that gets them 18 commitments. Well, I'd have to go back and check it. But anyway, Auburn still got room to move on up. And, Alabama – and Luke probably will be on the phone with us a little bit later on. Uncharacteristically, it's not where they normally are this time of year going into December, but they'll get theirs. You don't worry about that. But high school football last night, if you had a chance to get out to a football game, you probably watched a treat. It didn't matter where you went, and it didn't matter if it was 1A all the way up to 7A.
And we know a lot of you are up and down Highway 280 heading over to Auburn today. If you did get out and see some of these high school games last night, we'd love to hear from you. 2-3-4, 6-2-2-1. We haven't been able to personally see some of these guys.
No, we haven't.
Asa Martin, when we see him in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, it'll be the first time I've seen him.
That's right.
I did see him in basketball last year as Austin made it to the semifinal round there in basketball, and he was kind of a sub off the bench, so at least I got a visual in my mind
That's right.
of what I'm seeing there. Haven't seen Bo Nix at all, other than film. So Bo Nix still has a chance to play for a state championship at Alabama. He's uncommitted still at this point. You go, well, he's going to Auburn. You know he's going to Auburn. No. I mean, it doesn't work out that way. The legacy thing is not what it once was.
You're right, and there's so many I mean, you look at Auburn's situation at quarterback right now. You know, I feel like Jarrett Stidham obviously would be back this coming up year, and you don't know, he may even go one more further than that. Then you got Malik Willis. Then you got all the guys Auburn's recruiting right now. Look, it may be a situation to where Auburn's 3-4 deep at quarterback, and Bo Nix goes, I need to go somewhere I can get on the field early, you know, or I can get a better chance of playing. It's the same with Hewitt Trussell's quarterback. That's
Paul
a legacy.
Tyson.
That's a legacy for Alabama. Talia Tagovailoa. It's Tua's brother. You know, you don't know that it's just assumed that he's going to float up to Alabama. I mean, you don't know what all these guys are going to do because they're so competitive out there, and it has a lot to do with who's already at schools and who's being recruited by those schools.
Let's start with 1A, Brett.
Let's do it.
Maplesville is the game to start with. First off, I want to get you to tell those out there what you said to us after the Champions Challenge game. And by the way, Brett, with our AHSA Radio Network crew, went over and called Maplesville against Fife. That was the two defending state champions in 1A and 2A. Maplesville won that football game fairly easily.
They did.
And Brett said that if there's a 1A program that I've seen, and we've seen some good ones. We saw Sweetwater 8 or 9 years ago.
They were just like this in that time frame. You know, Sweetwater, you know, in 1A football, you got smaller rosters. You got lesser people to pick from. So you just have to go with the – so it's what's amazing about smaller programs are the ones that are able to continue year in and year out with dominance because of the size of the community and who they get. So Sweetwater, for those stretches when you and I started the HSA network, it was like, will they ever not come back to a state championship game? Well, they've hit a little down spurt, but they're back now. And we heard rumblings all the way through the last 3 or 4 weeks that you better watch out. Maplesville's path isn't going to be so easy when they got to run through Sweetwater. Sweetwater's got the team to compete with. Yes, I did. After the Champions Challenge, after they beat Fife the way they beat Fife, I looked at it and I said, and I still stand by this, there's several 5A teams that Maplesville could line up against and beat. So, you know, to keep a streak going like Maplesville's had, there's going to be a night, and I don't have the details of what went on in this football game. It was a 26-21 win over Maplesville last night for Sweetwater. I don't know how many times Maplesville turned the football over. They may not have turned it over at all. It may have just been Sweetwater driving the ball down their throat and keeping the ball away from them and dominating. But there's going to be a game somewhere where somebody rises up, and if you're not on your A game that night, you could get beat.
Here in the local region, Brett, staying in Class 1A, if there's a team that's got a better opportunity than Wadley here in this local region, we just don't have them this year. And normally we've got multiples with a chance, and Reeltown had a really good close to their season. But Wadley High School picks up a big victory. They'll move on to the semifinals.
Wadley is strong. I saw some of their kids in person at a college fair, not at a football game. But when I saw them walk in, I said, you know, in 1A football, good luck to whoever's got some players that can compete with this bunch. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 of them. There's a bunch of them. And so in 1A football, you understand that when it's a numbers game, a lot of those guys are playing both ways, and it has a lot to do with depth. And if you got better numbers and better quality, let me say that, more than numbers, you're going to win out more times than not. So Wadley's a strong team. They got state championship on the brain because they got put out, like you said, in the quarterfinals last year by this Sweetwater team. So, what will come out of next week, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to watch that football game.
Finish down that bracket in 1A.
Yeah, 1A, South Lamar moved on to beat Addison. and Pickens County, the Tornadoes, who are pretty good in football and basketball. That's another one of those schools that get it done on the court and on the football field. 37-8 over Cherokee High School, and that rounds out 1A. So you got Sweetwater and South Lamar, Wadley, and Pickens County, the 4 teams that remain in 1A.
Yeah, and that should be a great matchup right there for Wadley. So here in the local region, of course, with the radio network, we can't really say that we're cheering for anybody because we don't know many of these players nor the coaches in a lot of these communities. But it is nice to see a local area Central Alabama team to have a chance to play for. Randolph County.
They're still in it.
They're strong. Moved down to Class 2A.
Yeah, we'll go down to 2A and run down these scores. Laverne fell to Leroy last night. Here's another one of those teams that were old hats that we were accustomed to seeing year in and year out. Leroy back in the semis next week. 38-20 winners over Laverne. Goshen in a close one over St. Luke's Episcopal. And St. Luke's didn't make it, and I know Justin Mosley said, if we had a chance to watch St. Luke's, they had a kid that reminded them of Tyree Gray.
Had almost 500 yards rushing last night.
And lost 56-52 to Goshen. And Lynette, 48-7 over Lamar County. This Lynette team is a really, really talented football team, and I know we got to get in the break. And then the last one there in 2A, Fife, the defending champs, they fall to Sullivan, 35-28. When we come back, we'll talk more about high school football and the Iron Bowl. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown coming your way right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. At Main Street Family Urgent Care, we want you to know one of the benefits of our clinic. We have a self-pay option that allows you to get the most out of your visit. That means you don't have to worry about receiving a large bill after your visit. $125 covers all in-house labs, stitches, x-rays, or injections, and we have a selection of antibiotics available in the clinic. We want you to feel better fast at Main Street Family Urgent Care, open 7 days a week in Alexander City across the street from Walmart. Feel better fast.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Blitz with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-Go cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-Go cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go karts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Karts of Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. So, again, we want to thank both of them for being our corporate partners here. On the Saturday Sports Countdown, Randy, we got through 2A football. Here, the story, we were kind of rushed out. 2A, Fife gone. Fife, the defending state champs in 2A. Maplesville, the defending state champs in 1A. Both of them gone. So we're going to have 2 new state champs in the first two classifications.
Watch out for Lynette. Lynette High School is really. Have they had a close football game? Have they had a 3-score football game?
Really. Not really.
You have seen them and been up close and personal with them the last 2 state championships in basketball.
Just go ahead and chisel that on in right now.
You just write
we
it
don't.
in.
We don't even have to play the basketball season. They'll just take them on up to after they finish playing this bracket in football. Take them on up to Birmingham. Just get them a hotel room. Let them camp out up there.
That's how good they are.
I mean, that team. Good Lord. If somebody's got somebody that's come up through the ranks that I haven't seen before that can challenge them, but they put on a Harlem Globetrotters type performance the last 2 years up there in Birmingham.
Lynette's 13-0, 48-7 victors over Lamar County. They'll move on to the semifinals where they'll take on a Sulligent team who is now 12-1. Move down to Class 3A. Clark County at 11-2 defeats Mobile Christian 21-16. It's Hillcrest Evergreen over American Christian 29-21. Randolph County, also a close Central Alabama region team, 55-24 over Sylvania. And Piedmont 34. Colbert Heights 13. Piedmont's won 3 consecutive state titles there in Class 3A, I believe, so. But they had their quarterback move on.
That's right.
So he's not there. He's been the MVP, I think, all 3 of those years. So what a matchup you got there in the semis, Randolph County and Piedmont.
Let me tell you, Piedmont, their facilities, their program. Justin went up and did a piece on Piedmont, and he came back and he told us how in awe he was of that program. And that's why programs year in and year out are good. In smaller communities, they stress and put emphasis on how important it is to be in that program. And it starts way down in youth league. But that's going to be a matchup. Randolph County and Wadley right up there close to each other, both teams in the semifinals.
What do you think about UMS Wright? You know they got a good football team when Bibb County, who put, 40 points on Tallahassee last week, goes to UMS Wright and can't get but 7. It was a big win for UMS Wright. They're 11-2. They take down Bibb County 31-7. Andalusia 45, Alabama Christian 13. What a semifinal round matchup there.
Well, that's
hey, I know Andalusia's got a good football team.
They got to go through UMS.
That's tough, isn't it?
Well, UMS is who they are. I mean, how many state championships have they won? And you know, Terry Curtis built that program to what it is, and they're able to go out and year in and year out just compete, and they're always in the hunt at the end. And Andalusia's been close the last couple of years. It's almost like one of those deals that we'll get to 7A and talk about a thorn in a team side. You know, sometimes teams have other teams' numbers. And so UMS seems to have teams' numbers in that classification. Can Andalusia get over the hump? To be the champion, you got to beat the champion, and Andalusia will have that opportunity.
Fayette County makes it to another semifinal. That's really, they've gotten used to being here. And we saw them a few years back in a state championship game, and they were up to the task as far as athleticism out there. Didn't have things go their way in that championship game, but do remember them saying this is going to be a good ball game. So they take down Hoax Bluff last night, 34-27, and it sacks 42-14 over Cherokee County.
You know, where's this Sacs team come from? You know, I look, if somebody's riding up down the road and it's a Sacs alum, forgive me, but I just remember over the last several years, and I've been calling high school football for almost 20 years now, Sacs getting beat up week in and week out. So I know the landscape and all changes in certain areas of the state, and obviously some things have shifted in Sacs' favor here.
Well, they have. They're 13-0 and 42-14 victors. Move on to the semifinal round. What a great football team that they have. Moving down to Class 5A, it's all St. Paul's 52. 20 over Beauregard. That is a LaDamian Webb-less Beauregard team. So a great run for Beauregard again, state championship game last year. Make it to the quarterfinals this year. Just run up against a buzzsaw in St. Paul's.
Yeah, Callaway had 146 yards. I mean, he's a good running back. A lot of people would love to have him. But no 300-yard night like LaDamian Webb is capable of. And it's not a shot against Beauregard, but when you knew that he went out with an ankle injury in the first round, you just like, it's not going to be pretty because of the way their team's built. I mean, that team showed me last year with 54 carries for LaDamian Webb in the state championship game that they run through him. And without him, it's more of a mentality thing is anything, because Beauregard's got plenty of athletes.
They definitely do. And Demopolis, great athleticism when they can put things together, and they've got it together this year. They're 11-2 on the season. They take down Viger 35-14 last night. Very good semifinal matchup in Class 5A there between St. Paul's and Demopolis. St. Clair County defeats Winona 27-26. Yep. That's a Winona team that made it to the state championship game last year.
That's right.
They did lose to Beauregard in that one, but we left impressed with Winona, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But they were going to have to match back up with a Briarwood team that they defeated last year.
That's right.
I'm not sure who's going to match up well with Briarwood. In my mind's eye, what do you see for Briarwood? When you look down in a quarterfinal and it's 31-0, can you see the athlete in your mind?
Yeah, I can.
Can you see the defensive ends in your mind?
I sure can. Long, lanky, and then you got Andy Davis back there in the secondary. I mean, yeah, they're built just. I mean, Fred Yancey. Briarwood's had their lumps over the last few years.
They have.
You know, they've had to work their way back up, but you knew that they would get back to the pinnacle, and they're playing as good as anybody in 5A football.
And the only loss that they've had over the last 2 seasons was that semifinal matchup to Winona last year.
That's right.
So they'll head into the semis again this year at 13-0. Great team that they have there. Brett, just before we'll go to Class 6A and 7A during this next break, anything that really jumps out to you between 1A through 5A?
You know, two things jump out. Maplesville's not there and Fife's not there. And you're just like, it shows you, and it's a proof out there to all you kids that on paper, you don't play games on paper. You play them on the field. And so when you line up, and it could be your night. It could be the other team's not going to play as good as you that night. You may want it more. We've all penciled Maplesville and Fife into the championship game for the next 10 years. Not going to happen for either one of those schools this year. It's good for those schools too, Randy, because they have to be humbled sometimes, because sometimes things are too easy, and you think, well, I'll just show up and put my helmet on and I'll go out there and the other team will roll over. Sometimes you need to be humbled to appreciate what you have, and Maplesville and Fife will rebound. Don't get me wrong, but it will give 2 new teams in 1A and 2A an opportunity to win a state championship.
When we come back, we'll move down to Class 6A and 7A and look forward to talking about that with you. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Ask what makes it the best 3 Series ever, and we'll tell you it has more advanced suspension and steering for even more control of the road. And it's near perfectly balanced to put performance first. But ask her for where the competition mimics us just to keep up? No comment. The BMW 3 Series.
Visit BMW of Columbus on Whittlesey Boulevard or shop bmwofcolumbus.com.
Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937, 866-837-6937, or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean. TPE Power Equipment is now the trusted name for all your mower and power equipment needs. Whether it's our original Tallahassee location or Opelika location on Fredericks Road, we've got East Alabama covered with the best brands of mowers and power equipment from Husqvarna, Toro, Kawasaki, Echo, and Honda. Right now, get commercial strength Husqvarna zero-turn mowers with our fleet program that offers deep discounts, easy finance, and bonus handheld equipment in one solid package. TPE of Opelika and Tallahassee are the new standard of everything power equipment in East Alabama.
Lake Area Realty is Lake Martin's Century 21 real estate company that proudly serves all the Lake Martin area. Rhonda Gaskin and her staff of caring professional realtors offer full sales for buyers and sellers in the area and can even help you with finding rentals or managing your current property. Whether it's your dream lake home, waterfront property, area family home in town, or just a starter home, Lake Area Realty can handle it all and advise you on all your needs. Buying and selling real estate is important to the professionals at Century 21. Lake Area Realty are your friends in real estate. Call or visit lakearearealty.net.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Farnell Mechanical gives you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable.
Trust Farnell Mechanical to provide perfect air for your family.
What perfect feels like. Lennox.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime at the all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Every new and pre-owned vehicle, just $1 down, plus credit amnesty. Bring home $350 a week, get up to $30,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
10 acres, 1,000 vehicles, just $1 down.
Folks, you've just got to see this place.
The all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE.
Welcome to the future, imagined by visionaries, championed by leaders, and focused on results. Made real through hard work and a determination to build the things that people count on. Places where ideas are born, where progress fuels growth and strengthens communities. It's work that makes a difference. United Rentals. You're building the future. We're here to help.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard this morning. We'll be here with you until 9 o'clock, finishing up our high school Blitz segment of the program, and we'll move into a full hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes worth of Iron Bowl talk with Luke Robinson catching up with us at 8 o'clock. But we're down to two classifications that we all love to follow and enjoy watching, and there's some new teams to talk about, especially there in Class 6A than we've seen in years past, and that's where we'll start right now. It's Hillcrest Tuscaloosa defeating Opelika last night, 29-27. This was a great football game, Brett, and Opelika, after losing 3 early football games this season, they put it all together, have a great close of the season. You know they'd like to have won this football game, but nonetheless, a good win for Hillcrest.
Yeah, it was a great win for Hillcrest, and you know Hillcrest is a program that we saw last year. Brian Robinson is over at Alabama now. We felt like they'd have a drop off this year. There was a lot of coaches that talked about Hillcrest and saying, well, they lost the quarterback, they lost the running back. It didn't affect them. They were right back in the semifinals, and they knocked off a really good Opelika team who was playing good in the playoffs. You know, Opelika had their lumps early. They battled through some injuries in the season, but got stronger as the year went on. And I know they're disappointed again. I know over in Opelika, you're like, when are we going to get over the hump? When is it going to be our time? And all you can do is just keep lining up every year and keep battling. And one year it's going to fall your way, but they fall 2 points short last night.
Wetumpka puts up 69 points on Spanish Fort last night.
Maybe the story of the state, Randy, in my opinion.
This was shocking to me. Not that Wetumpka won the football game, because I thought it would be a close one, but for them to put up 69 against Spanish Fort last night just send a buzzwave through this state. And J.D. Martin, superstar quarterback, had a big night. Kowaliga Smoke,
what do you
the
got,
Alabama,
four
Mississippi running
touchdowns?
back, wonderful back, at 220 pounds.
Huge.
Makes you look silly. Makes you look like you're losing containment constantly. That's the one thing that rolls through my mind with Kowaliga Smoke is the way that he glides. Hit the sideline, you're like, what just happened right here? And he had a big night again against Spanish Fort last night, 69-41. Wetumpka moves on to take on Hillcrest Tuscaloosa there in the semis.
You know, and Hillcrest is a team that wins by defense, and they shut teams down. I don't see it, not against this Wetumpka team. Wetumpka's going to have to help them. If they're to beat Wetumpka, they're going to have to turn the ball over several times. Kowaliga Smoke garners a lot of the attention for that Wetumpka team, but it's J.D. Martin for me. That kid, if you take him off that Wetumpka team, Wetumpka's not the same. I mean, Kowaliga Smoke, still a great player, but he is so dynamic in space, and he is just like your prototypical scrambling quarterback. You could have it defended perfectly, but he gets out in open space and he makes a couple guys miss, and all of a sudden you're trying to chase him down the field. He makes things happen. Wetumpka, they may win it all in 6A, and I know that's not going out on a limb because there's only 4 teams left, but Wetumpka has the horses, Randy. They could easily win the whole thing.
And they haven't really been here all that often.
No.
So if you watch out, if they make it to Tuscaloosa, there won't be a soul left in Wetumpka.
Oh, not at all.
As they had a monster crowd out here for a region championship game in Alexander City. And
that was a good football game, and I'll say this for our local area down here, Benjamin Russell, shows you how close you really were in a lot of aspects to that Wetumpka team. That was a gritty football game. It came down to the fourth quarter. Credit Wetumpka. They get credit a lot about scoring points, but it's more about their defense too, Randy. You and I talked about their 2 middle linebackers and the way they play on that side of the football and how physical they are up front. Hey, that when you score 60 points a game or 50 points a game, you tend to get all the attention on that side of the ball. But, man, they win games because they shut teams down.
Pinson Valley and Austin. Pinson Valley and Austin. We expected a great football game. We got it. Went to an overtime. Pinson Valley goes for 2 there in overtime after both teams score a touchdown. Pat Nix dials one up, got his son back there at quarterback, said we're going to try to win this thing right now, and they do. 51-50, they take down Austin, the first loss for either team for Austin last night. Bo Nix had 7 touchdown passes and 2 two-point conversion passes. What a night for him, and Asa Martin back in the backfield put on a show for Austin. Both put up over 50. About what you expected.
Hey, you know, what do you say? Hey, it ended about the only way you would expect somebody or a game like this to end. 51-50 with a team going for 2. Neither one of those teams, especially Austin falling in that game, has anything to hold their head down about. I mean, you did everything right. You did everything you could to win that game. They just made one more play than you did. Asa Martin in a loss, 379 yards. Bo Nix, as you said, 7 touchdowns. He was 29 of 37 for 371 yards. And this kid's a junior. So Asa Martin committed to Auburn. Bo Nix, the son of Pat Nix, is offered by Ohio State, Auburn, and Alabama currently right now, plus a ton of others, and that list will continue to grow. Just phenomenal athletes on the field last night.
Next year may be the top quarterback class this state's ever produced.
Ever seen.
I think that I'm pretty confident in saying that. Paul Tyson at Hewitt, who is the great-grandson of Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
6'5", 220 pounds, prototypical, deliver the football. Let me tell you, you get him off the bus, you walk him out there, and you let him just throw around in a skeleton drill.
That's right.
You'll want him on your side.
Absolutely.
And then you go over there to Thompson, and you see Tua T's brother, and what an athlete that he is. He's a gritty kid, too. And then you got Bo Nix. That's 3 of the top ones in the nation right here in this state next year. Clay Chalkville takes down Oxford, and this one's 31-15 is the final, and it may not even been that close. Clay Chalkville's got things rolling. We knew that the way they beat Homewood, watch out for them, and this team's used to winning too.
I talked to Tommy, who does the play-by-play for Oxford last night, and he said Oxford made too many mistakes to overcome. And He said, and number 2, Clay Chalkville's defensive line is ferocious. He said they just got after us and got after us, like no other team's been able to do all year. This is an undefeated Oxford team, by the way, that really control the line of scrimmage. One of the best offensive lines we've seen, probably the best offensive line you and I saw all year this year, and they got whipped up front. And, it just leads into what we're going to talk about for almost an hour or over an hour here the rest of the show. It's about line of scrimmage play. You can talk about great athletes on the corners. You can talk about guys in the backfield. And you can talk about great quarterback play. But if you don't win that battle in the trenches, you're going to lose the game more times than not. And Oxford had a great season, and they felt like finally got over that second-round hump, make it into the quarterfinals, and they run up on a buzzsaw in Clay Chalkville.
Go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll run down 7A and then move on into the Iron Bowl talk. Take your phone calls, 256-234-6221 here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with 0 down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for 0 down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
When enjoying the lake this season, make sure to drop by Harbor Point Marina for all your gas, snacks, boating supplies, and beverage needs. Harbor Point also wants you to come see our remaining 2017 Crest pontoons, priced to move at all-season pricing. Harbor Point Crest sales have been tremendous, and they're ready to unload their remaining 2017 Crest Tritoons to make way for the 2018 order. Come see the best in pontoons at our 2017 season closeout prices. Act now because inventory is limited, and enjoy your new Crest pontoon this year. For all your own-water needs and sacrifice pricing on Crest pontoons, get to the point. Harbor Point at Still Waters on Lake Martin.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Gotta get to Gills. Selection and price. Gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
Bills Electric is your local expert for LED lighting retrofits for commercial and industrial applications. Bills Electric can survey your facility and develop lighting retrofit solutions utilizing the latest in LED technology and controls. In many cases, energy savings alone can generate a payback of 2 years or less. Additionally, LED lighting has an expected lifespan of up to 100,000 hours. Call the Lamborns today at 256-234-4555.
At A&M Plumbing, you can count on us for dependable, quality service. Our staff is professional, neat, clean, and courteous. We're a fully licensed and insured plumbing company. Call on A&M Plumbing for any plumbing, sewer, or septic problems. We provide a comprehensive line of plumbing repair and installation services to keep your home's plumbing systems in top order. When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing. Service at its best, when you need it most.
Don't miss the Black Friday sales event at Bice Motors in Alex City.
This Black Friday is going to be big.
Save up to $12,300 on a new 2017 Ram 1500 Crew 4x4 Laramie or get 0% for 72 months.
It's a November to remember.
New 2017 Ram 1500 Express Crew, $299 down, $299 a month.
You don't want to miss this.
New 2018 Jeep Cherokee Limited, $199 a month.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Class 7A, Brett, doesn't get much better than this. Great semifinal matchup. Really, when you look there in the north, and that's where we'll start, Thompson defeats Hoover for their lone in-state loss this year. That one was at the Hoover Met, and what a close to that football game that Thompson able to go 98 yards and close that football game out. But last night, You saw Hoover go up by 17 points. You said, I don't know this year. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it here in the semifinal, and they just didn't have enough to get back into the football game. It was a 31-12 Hoover victory.
A motivated Hoover team. They've listened for a couple weeks about how Thompson is the new king in Birmingham. And just like a Josh Niblett-led program, you saw last week, they took out their frustrations on an extremely good Hewitt-Trussville team. I don't remember Hoover scoring 56 points on a team that's comparable to them. Okay, and they're not known for offense. They're known for shutting you down defensively and playing a really boring style type of football. But man, when I saw that score last week, I said, good luck to anybody that's in their path. They are on a mission, you know, Thompson had a great season, undefeated, had them at their place. Just shows you what that program's made of and what Josh Niblett, you can like him or not like him or whatever, and you know, he tears his shirt off to get people whatever. He's a good guy. He's grounded, and he teaches those kids a lot of good things up there. And it's not all about winning at Hoover with him. I know that's hard to say, but he instills a lot of values that you would want your kid to play for that guy because of what he teaches you, not only on the field but off the field. And
congratulations to Hoover as they move on to another state championship game.
Pickens is a real deal, Randy.
He is. Pickens is a real deal. That's 18 out of 18 years that we've had a Hoover City school playing in a state championship game out of the North.
Unbelievable.
Spain Park, the only two times that we have seen Hoover not make it. Spain Park, what a run.
Is this the most dominating performance by any program from NFL down to high school that you and I have actually seen in person? I mean, you can't compare the Super Bowl champs and Tom Brady and the New England Patriots to a high school team, but to do something for 17 or 18 years, I mean, come on, man. Who can do that on a consistent basis and keep a program and keep kids' heads level enough to be able to go back every year, time after time after time?
It's going and getting good coaches. It's having support in the community. No high school program has any more support than Hoover. No. They built a booster club that's second to none. They care about their youth.
They do.
They make sure that those kids are playing in a system that's kind of groomed them. And Rush Propst kind of started
he
that,
started
I believe,
it. He did start it.
And they've maintained that over there.
Have.
And so, look, they've got the best coach. I wouldn't say necessarily – you've got some great coaches here in the state, so you don't say the best. But I don't know many that they would trade for.
It works.
Josh Niblett.
I don't know if Hoover wouldn't trade Josh Niblett for anybody, and they're just keeping their fingers crossed he don't ever leave. I mean, because his name gets brought up every single year for college coaching jobs. And maybe Josh Niblett's a guy that goes, I just don't want to go down that route. I'm happy in high school. You know, he may leave this year. I don't know. But he seems content to continue to do what he does to do.
He's in a great program, and who would blame him? Pretty much. McGill-Tulane takes down Central Phoenix City 27-26 in overtime. Brett, this one had a lot of plots. It had a climax, and unfortunately the climax came right there with under a minute to go there at the football game.
I found the tweet.
Knock it out. Let us know what happened.
All right. Says Phoenix City kicks the go-ahead field goal with 20 seconds left, but it was Coach Hill for Phoenix City that got the timeout. Not for McGill-Tulane, not Jamie Dubose. Got the timeout before the kick. Phoenix City goes back out there. They missed the field goal after the timeout to go to overtime, 20-20.
I knew that story that we had heard through the grapevine that somehow Coach Dubose was not comfortable and called a timeout.
No,
just doesn't.
He didn't ice his own kicker.
No, he
but that came across. I actually sent that out to a bunch of y'all in a thread last night when they did that. So they actually saw the game winner go through the uprights, but they got the timeout before, and they go back out there. And, you know, a lot of times the icing thing don't work, but it worked this time. I'm not saying that it iced that kid to the point he missed it, but sometimes that mental part, you watch the ball go through the uprights, you think the game's over. I'm sure when they kicked it, everybody celebrated, and they went, hold on, we got to do this again, timeout. You go back out there, you try to get, you know, back down to a certain level where you some composure, and he didn't do it. Then they go into overtime, Randy, and he gets his extra point partially blocked. It's just
both score touchdowns in overtime, Brett.
Lose 27-26.
Sets up a Super 7 over in Tuscaloosa this year. We've had a couple of questions on when is that. It's not this upcoming week because we got semifinals from 1A through 6A.
That's right.
But it's the following week over in Tuscaloosa. It will start on Wednesday, lead through Friday. We'll have a Class 7A state championship game on Wednesday night. And then you'll go into Thursday and Friday sessions where you'll have 3 games both days. 11, 3, and 7 o'clock. We'll be over there with our AHSA Radio Network crew to cover all 7 of those games here in the state of Alabama. I want to thank all of those radio stations that pull in our broadcast all season long as we close out High School Blitz here in this segment. It's been a great high school season, Brett. We've got unbelievable talent here in the state of Alabama. We're fortunate. There's a lot of states that can't put 2 great programs out there on the college ranks, and there's more than 2 because not only Auburn and Alabama, but a lot of our other schools like a Jacksonville State and a UAB and a Troy, they're really fed by the in-state high schools here in the state of Alabama.
And look at what Jacksonville's doing.
Can you remember a better year, college football here in the state of Alabama? And look, our bread's buttered on the high school side. We love it. But I think that speaks volumes, what's going on at the college ranks, what's going on down in our high schools as well.
That's why we like high school so much, because we get to see these kids before they get to these schools. And we get to follow them on through their college career and then on into the pros. And we can go back and say, hey, man, I was on the sideline down there when Leroy was playing in a state championship game, and I saw Sammy coach for the first time. Now he's playing over at Cleveland, I think now. I think he got traded to Cleveland, not with Pittsburgh anymore. But, I mean, that's just a story. That's an example. You know, I saw that kid. You know, I can say that, you know, I got to see Bradley Bozeman play for Handley High School, standing on the sideline over there when he was a freshman, I believe, and he's a huge kid standing over there going, man, and now he plays center for Alabama. You know, we have all those stories, and we can do that in basketball too.
We had Bradley, you know, he was the starting left tackle for that Handley team that won a state championship game that year. And what a run he's had at Alabama. Man. You just never know.
Did you ever think, now we thought, yeah, he was going to be a good talent. Potentially. You know,
it's hard.
He's playing at a smaller level school, big kid, but you go, well, you know, how does he compare to on up the ranks? Now look at him.
Kerryon Johnson. Saw him in basketball. Saw his brother
in
basketball.
What a great example right there.
His brother was Mr. Basketball here in the state of Alabama from Madison Academy, and we watched what he did in that sport. That's the first memory that I had of him, and then to watch what he moved on and did in the high school ranks and then in college right now.
If you flipped on basketball last night and you saw Josh Langford shooting the eyeballs out of it from Michigan State, right there from Madison Academy as well.
Go ahead and take another break. We'll come back. We'll move on into the Iron Bowl here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn?
U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world. Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. Now Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Do not buy a car this week
until you check out Hyundai of Auburn.
Max trade value, max savings,
my max markdowns,
max credit union and other lenders ready to approve with the max warranty.
America's best 10 years.
When we deal, we pay off your trade no matter what you owe.
And like Christmas, it's just once a year.
And only one place, Hyundai of Auburn.
Get down here today.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Brett Pritchard. It's about 7:50, so we'll be here with you for an hour and 10 more minutes. We'd love to hear from you if you're up and down Highway 280 heading over to Auburn for the football game. We've just knocked around high school football, and boy, we got a lot of good-looking athletes going to both Auburn and Alabama starting next year. We'll have Luke Robinson with us on the next segment, as he'll bring you a little taste of what's the thought process behind that Alabama fan base right now. But let's start with Auburn. Brett, great win against Georgia, move on in just a workmanlike fashion victory against Louisiana Monroe, and Auburn's got everything set up with, how many of us Auburn fans believe we'd be in this position after that LSU loss?
None. I mean, we were trying to decide how bad the last 2 out of 3 weeks were going to be. And all that got squashed with a dominating performance over Georgia. Now, look, I said it on the Auburn Blitz, and I'm not going to be negative today on the show on an Iron Bowl day. But Georgia had opportunities to make plays, and they didn't make plays. And in games take on personalities based on teams either making plays or not making plays. Well, Georgia had a prime opportunity to answer right back after Auburn goes up 9-7. And he's wide open. He just dropped the pass. He walked into the end zone for a touchdown from about 75 yards out. Doesn't make that play. Georgia ends up having to punt the football. Auburn drives back down, scores a touchdown. The whole mentality changes in that football game. If Georgia scores that touchdown, now momentum's back on their side. So I'm not saying, oh, well, Georgia, I'm not poor-mouthing the win. I'm just saying that sometimes you look and go, well, Auburn beat them 40-17. Well, there were plays early in that game that swung that momentum in Auburn's favor.
I'll take it to a positive standpoint, though. The beauty of Auburn this year is if you give them that many opportunities on the offensive side of the ball and you allow Jarrett Stidham some time to sit back there and find some receivers down the field, especially when we're able to run the football between the tackles with Kerryon Johnson, watch out.
They'll burn you.
They'll burn you. And Darius Slayton has become that guy, hasn't he?
He has.
With, I think it's either 1 or 2 more receptions, which would take him to 20 receptions on the season. He would surpass Red Phillips for the all-time yards per catch average there at Auburn University. Right now he's sitting at 27.5 yards per catch. Brett, big play potential, and that's changed up the whole dynamic of this offense.
And it takes a special guy to be able to be that deep threat guy. Some guys can't catch a deep ball. Some guys, they can't catch a 10-yard pass, but they can catch 170. And Darius Slayton seems to be – everybody at Auburn on the offensive side has a role. Is it not weird? It's like you look at Eli Stove and he's your speed sweep guy, or maybe your little swing pass out of the backfield guy. You look at Darius Slayton, he's your home run guy. Will Hastings, maybe your first down guy. You got you just have a bunch of different roles. It's like nobody takes on anybody else's role. It's like everybody's predicated to do one certain thing. I still don't know what the tight end's role is. I don't think he has one at Auburn anymore. But everybody has their role. And again, I want to go back and I want to preface. I'm not trying to be negative about that. I'm impressed with the Auburn win, but don't get caught up in a score going, man, we just steamrolled Georgia, beat them 40-17. You did dominate the line of scrimmage, and that's where you need to concentrate more than anything, and that's where you're going to have to win the football game today to give yourself an opportunity. You got to win in the trenches.
And I said this to Andy Graham, it'd be far-fetched to find two that have less to do with what's going to actually go on the field than you and I. So as an Auburn fan base, I'm just thrilled we're going into the Iron Bowl with everything to play for. If we could just ask for this every year, you and I can sit up here as a talking head and say, well, this is what they need to be thinking. The coaches are doing that. As fans, though, are you not thrilled you get to go over to Auburn today? And why not go over there?
We're not playing golf today, man.
Why not go over there with some confidence as well? Because
you should.
Alabama has put a stretch together over the last decade that's second to none.
They have.
I can't remember a stretch of college football in my lifetime that's even close. I'll throw USC, but it's not close to what we're seeing for Alabama. So to be confident, I'm going to Auburn today confident,
that
Brett,
you can win the ball game.
But I'm an Auburn fan, so I've been humbled a lot before, and I could be humbled today. But the excitement that's in me to get in my car and drive over to Auburn with a chance to win an SEC or to go play for an SEC championship
is huge.
I'm not going to wane. I'm not going to worry about whether I say something. What I say has no factor in this ball game.
None.
So I'm going to go over there, and I may give a little rip or two to my Alabama friends. It'll be over today.
Well, you know what? And then you've got a situation going back to Alabama. They're going for their 25th consecutive SEC win today. So, man, come on, man. I mean, look, that's the third. If they win today, that'll be the third longest winning streak in SEC history since they've been playing football in this conference. So, and I'm sure, hey, knowing Alabama, they probably own the other two streaks. I mean, I don't know who's got the top two streaks, but I'm sure it's out. But it's a respect factor for what they've done, and it's all because of Nick Saban. Alabama scrambled, went through 3 or 4 coaches. A program that has so much tradition like Alabama just shows you if you don't have the right guy, and you look at Tennessee right now, and you look at what Florida's going through, how quickly you can be in this rat race and this scrambling to try to find that next guy. And look, Alabama's going to have to go through it again at some point in time, and I know we'll get Luke on, and Luke's the main one that sits up here and tells us, and he points a finger at all the Alabama fans, you better enjoy this while you got it, because it ain't going to keep going forever. And look, I don't know who Alabama's next coach will be, and they ain't worried about it today. But at some point in time, when that next guy comes in, he has got just he can't live up to the expectations.
A couple of other stats that are wild. Alabama doesn't have a loss in the regular season since 2010 of 10-plus points. Let that sink in.
It's unbelievable.
A loss in the regular season, 10-plus points. They have won 73 non-conference games against unranked opponents. Is that not?
That's just phenomenal.
And I look at Miami yesterday, and that's just, it brings up how tough it is to not have a slip-up against a team that, I mean, anybody that went into watching that game with Miami and Pittsburgh yesterday said, boy, this could be a tough one. I mean, they're on the road.
That's right.
At Pittsburgh. The weather is not pretty.
That's right.
And it's early morning. I don't know.
Didn't set up good for them, and it bit them.
It did bite them. So, but we got a great setup today over at the Iron Bowl, and we've got a whole hour to talk about it here coming up. In the next segment, we're going to welcome Luke Robinson on. We'll hear from the Alabama standpoint as Brett and I are happily sporting our Navy up here today. You're not going to get much good positive Alabama talk from us today, so we're going to have to take advantage of Luke Robinson here in these next couple of segments. But we'd love to hear from you. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. If you're just tuning us in, you're saying, who are these talking heads up here? Well, this is our Sports Blitz programming here. We're in our 12th year with this program, and part of the logo that's sitting behind Brett back there is our AHSA radio network, and we've talked a majority here of the first hour on what's to set up for the Super 7 state championship games that'll be at Bryant-Denny Stadium here in the next couple of weeks.
That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Excited about it. We'll take our top of the hour break. We want to thank all of you for tuning us in. Stay with us. We'll be with you for another hour as we talk Iron Bowl. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown coming your way right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Sentricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Sentricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
A1 Four Seasons, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, is Central Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With the summer months approaching, the temperatures are rising, and so will your power bill if you don't have one of the latest 410A heat pumps. With R22 Freon prices on the rise, now is the time to make the switch to a new, more efficient unit that will save you hundreds of dollars on your yearly power bill. Call A1 Four Seasons at 256-234-4457. What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold, and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
Welcome back into the second hour of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. 256-234-6221. I want to welcome all of you in. Heading up and down Highway 280 right now, heading over to Auburn. I can only imagine the traffic. I was out last night about 9 o'clock, and it was one car after another here in Alexander City heading towards Auburn. Luke, you heading over today as we got our good friend Luke Robinson on the phone? You heading to the ball game today?
Yeah, I'm going to tailgate. I've got my 3 kids down here from Ohio, and they've got 2 of them have a couple of cousins that are their exact same age, and so I couldn't get anybody to separate. Everybody wanted to stay with their cousins. I was hoping to take one of the kids over there because I had a shot at 2 tickets, and everybody wanted to stay with their cousins and watch it just because they don't get to see them quite as much. And so, I hate that. Maybe I'm not raising them right. I don't know. But I was looking for 3 tickets so I could keep them all together and we could all go. I could take, a set and myself. But it just wasn't meant to be, which is fine because, if I had been in the stadium during the kick six, I probably just would have stayed there for another week and a half and missed work and everything else.
Luke, have you seen the kick six enough yet so far this year?
It's really kind of funny. It doesn't bother me as much. I look at that as just a great play. I'm probably more upset as an Alabama fan about 2010 than I am 2013. I thought that was just a great play, but I do find it a little bit hilarious. Even Rod Bramlett tweeted out something yesterday where he went on the field and stood where Chris Davis caught the ball, and he said, "Yep, this is the spot." And I wanted to tweet back at him and just say, "Oh, I think that's so cool that you can remember stuff from 5 years ago. That is awesome. Good job." And, I could tweet all these pictures of where Amari Cooper caught passes all over yet. I'm just not going to do it. But if Auburn wins today, I'm sure we'll get another fill of Rod Bramlett tweeting out pictures of where this happened and that happened. So I'm ready for it.
You are ready for it. It is in Auburn today. And, Luke, Alabama brings a team that's hoping to have some linebackers back today. And it's been a tough year, probably one of the worst ones I can remember over the last decade as far as the injury bug hitting Alabama. Can you update us on who's going to be playing, who we'll see that we haven't seen in a while?
Well, a couple of things. I think it's a bit of a myth that people say Alabama hadn't been hit by the injury bug. Last year they lost Eddie Jackson and Sean Deion Hamilton. I don't think there's any doubt if Alabama has those two, they win the national championship and go undefeated. I feel quite strongly having those two on defense against Clemson last year would have made a big difference. Having Barrett Jones in 2010 towards the end of the year, that certainly would have helped. Having, just having Vinny Cincinnati as the holder for 2013 would have been an upgrade from whoever was holding. I can't even remember who it was. But Alabama's had its fair share of injuries, just not a cornucopia of injuries like they had this year. The linebackers, it's just, I've never seen anything like one position get this decimated. Maybe 2004 Alabama with the running backs, but that's it. And this today, I think Christian Miller's probably got the best chance to play the most, and then I would say Terrell Lewis after that, and probably Mack Wilson after that. Saban went into a little more detail with Bama Online about where he thinks these kids will go and how much he thinks these kids will go, I should say. For instance, saying they're going to have to evaluate Mack Wilson during the warm-ups. And I don't think it's gamesmanship with Saban. I think that's really what he's going to do is see how Mack Wilson does during warm-ups, because it is different. You can go out there and practice all day, and you can look pretty fine. But when you get out there in a game situation, and you've got the nerves factoring in, and it's not your turf, and it's the crowd's not giving you the right mojo because it's the opposite team's crowd, et cetera, et cetera. I think things can affect you like that. Anybody who's ever come back from an injury knows that. It's one thing to rehab in your house and to feel better when you're on your own turf. But it's another thing when you're trying to come back from injury at somebody else's place. Everything's foreign. Mentally, it may not be the same place. So, who knows? I'm expecting Christian Miller to play some. I'm expecting Terrell Lewis to play a little. And I don't have any expectations for Mack Wilson right now.
Last week, if there was one bright spot on the defensive side of the ball that you really needed, you got it last week. Talk a little bit about Dylan Moses. He could be the X factor defensively this afternoon.
He certainly can be, and he's athletic enough. He was number one linebacker in the country for a reason, and he, he's been a five-star kid since the 8th grade. He's got the athleticism. Here's the catch, though, and I know people love to look at a game like Mercer and say that's his breakout game. It's still Mercer, and Trevor Maddich on ESPN, just ironically enough, did a great job of breaking down Dylan Moses versus Mercer, and then what he will be facing today against Auburn. When the play flowed to the right against Mercer, Dylan Moses could run right. There was no, hey, I need to check out this guy heading back to the left. There wasn't any of that. When you're playing Auburn, you have a bunch of people moving around, and then everybody moves to the right, and then somebody comes back to the left that you didn't expect, and it's his responsibility to check on him too. And also, even when something is coming to the right, instead of Dylan Moses just having free range or the athletic ability to push somebody who's 275 pounds out of the way, he's going to have to deal with somebody who's 325 pounds and who's faced SEC competition before. So it's going to be a different animal today, to say the least.
Offensive side of the ball, Luke, Jalen Hurts, midway through the season, I don't know if there was any Serious injury, but looked like he had some nagging leg things that were keeping him from being Jalen Hurts. The last couple of weeks, he's been dynamic again, though. Just talk about the offensive side of the ball for Alabama a little bit.
Well, Jalen Hurts is, the very definition of a gamer, and he's just going to go out there, and he just knows how to win. Again, people talk about the Clemson game. He did his part, I thought. It's a team game, and so Alabama lost that game, but I thought Jalen Hurts did all he could do. And Jalen Hurts is the kind of guy who is usually unfrazzled. He just stays calm in any situation. I have not seen him do a lot of fist pumping or high-fiving. He just sort of does his thing, and he doesn't get too up or too down. And I do think he had some type of injury early on. I don't know what it was. It was never an issue. Alabama kept winning, but I do think there was something holding him back a little bit. And it also could be the fact that Alabama was holding him back in the sense of they wanted him to stay in the pocket more and try and get the ball down the field. That certainly could be it too. In the end, I think you've got to let the quarterback be who they are. Let Jalen Hurts get out there and run some. That's what he does. Let Tua get out there and run every little bit. He's not a bad runner either. But I think quarterbacks play better when they are who they are. You can't wedge somebody in. You guys know with Jeremy Johnson, you can't wedge him in there and say, hey, just run the ball like Nick Marshall, no big whoop, right? It just doesn't work that way. And quarterbacks need to be comfortable, probably more so than any other position on the field, maybe outside of field goal kicker.
Luke, hope you'll stay right there with us, buddy. We got a break to go to, and we'd like to keep you on for one more segment. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. If you're up and down Highway 280 heading over to Auburn, we'd love to hear from you. You're tuning in right now to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Don't miss the Black Friday sales event at Bice Motors in Alex City.
This Black Friday is going to be big.
Save up to $12,300 on a new 2017 Ram 1500 Crew 4x4 Laramie or get 0% for 72 months.
It's a November to remember.
New 2017 Ram 1500 Express Crew, $299 down, $299 a month.
You don't want to miss this.
New 2018 Jeep Cherokee Limited, $199 a month.
On the web at BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Whether it's a dream house or corporate real estate, Concrete has the skill, expertise, and talent to exceed your expectations. Trust Concrete to build a foundation for your future. Our work ethic and dedication are always in keeping the competition on their toes. We specialize in residential and commercial development in the Coosa, Talladega, and Shelby County areas. Call us today for your next project, 256-245-4211, or check us out on the web at con-crete.com.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama.
There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
We ought to see if Wind Creek will put a lineup on their team.
Here we go, brother.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. We got Luke Robinson on the phone with us as we've got about 45 minutes left here in the program this morning. Again, thanks for tuning in as you head on over to Auburn, up and down Highway 280 here in Alexander City. Luke, we touched on the offensive side of the ball. Auburn's defense over the last couple of years with Kevin Steele has really had a resurgence and have gotten back into where at least you look on the defensive side and say this is not just, what's your old saying, Brett? Knife through butter?
Knife through butter.
Knife through butter at Auburn. As an Alabama fan, what concerns you the most about matching up with the Auburn defense?
I think it's the offensive line against the defensive line. And, Jeffrey Holland's great. This isn't necessarily the best quarterback matchup for him. I think Jake Fromm was a much better quarterback matchup for him, but he can still cause you to abandon a play call before you want to. The ones that concern me more are probably Derek Brown this particular time, maybe Russell, maybe even Marlon Davidson. I mean, those guys seem to be what are more concerning to me this particular time, just because they're so big. And Alabama wants to overpower you, and then they want to throw the ball so that you really don't you can't just load the box up. But, people have been loading the box up. And fortunately, Alabama's been able to get it to Calvin Ridley here lately. Calvin Ridley was the hero. I know Devonta Smith caught the touchdown against Mississippi State, but Calvin Ridley was really the hero of that game. And then Ridley had another long touchdown against Mercer. I mean, I know it's Mercer, but he put a fantastic move on the kid. And Ridley's sort of coming into his own. He's had, I wouldn't call it a disappointing junior season, but we all know this is his last season. I think he's probably underwhelmed, I guess. And it's not necessarily his fault. It's just the way the cards have fallen. But I think that Alabama's going to have to provide Jalen Hurts enough time to get the ball to a Calvin Ridley. And then the other receiver that's going to step up. There's no doubt that Auburn's going to put a lot of attention on Ridley. I mean, he's the Alabama receiving core is him, and then a pretty big gap to the next viable receiver. So who is going to be that next guy? I mean, I'll tell you somebody I would look for is Irv Smith, the tight end. Alabama has done a good job of getting him the ball of late. Occasionally, when you don't suspect Alabama's going to throw it to a tight end, I think I would like to see him be used a little more than normal this year, not just around the goal line. Hey, use him in any situation. He's got some good hands. He's big. He's strong. And I would like to see Irv Smith get a little bit more involved this week.
Luke, your confidence level with Alabama running the football on this Auburn defense?
Yeah, I'm confident Alabama can run the ball. I mean, do I think Auburn's going to hold Alabama to under 100 yards? No, I don't. I don't think that's going to happen. But define confidence. Am I confident in terms of Alabama's expectations over these last couple of years? No, I'm not that confident. I'm confident Alabama can run the ball enough because they do have a bunch of good offensive linemen, and they do have 3 or 4 good backs. Well, they got 5 good backs, but they've got 3 that are probably going to carry the ball, along with Jalen Hurts, who is a good running back in his own right when he wants to be. So, and I think one other guy who could be the X factor is Josh Jacobs today. He can line up in so many different positions, and he's got really good hands. He played very well against Mississippi State, too. In fact, I thought he gave Alabama the spark they needed to really sort of get off their duffs because it looked like Alabama wasn't mentally in the game until he went out there and made a couple of big runs. But, yeah, I think Alabama can run the ball. Do they get 250 yards rushing on Auburn? I don't think they'll do that either. But I think if they can get 150 to 200 yards rushing, I'll feel pretty good about it.
Jim Hardy asked you on our comments, Facebook Live, do you think Alabama can win the football game if they rush for under 100 yards, Luke?
I mean, I'm going to say no. And the reason is because I don't have confidence in the kicking game. I still don't. I never will when Alabama plays Auburn. If John Skinnerud's great-grandson comes to kick for Alabama and he has made every field goal all year long, I will not have confidence about our kicking game against Auburn. I never will. It's not going to happen again. I guess Van Tiffen ruined it all. I'm just.
Well, I was going to say, Luke, I know you're sick of seeing kick six. For 20-something years, we were sick of seeing Van Tiffen kick that ball through the upright. So it kind of goes in cycles. But
no, hang on. In our defense, though, you had one angle of that kick. The kick six ESPN's had the 360. They've had drones. They've had robotic.
We're sorry that they kicked that in 1985 with a Polaroid sitting up there taking still shots that they had to tie together.
Brett, we had to draw that on paper and then flip the paper very fast to look like the stick motion stuff. So, I mean, give us a break on that one. No, if Alabama doesn't rush for 100 yards, no, I don't. I do not think Alabama wins this ball game, and because I think if they rush for under 100 yards, they would have to have scores. That would mean they would have a lot of field goals, and Alabama doesn't get a lot of field goals.
Luke, before we let you go, buddy, got about a couple more minutes left here. It's a crazy coaching carousel out there. And you see Brett Bielema come off the field yesterday, and he walks into the press conference and said, I guess y'all have heard, they just let me go. And that's how Arkansas decided to do it. Just quickly, your thoughts around some of these programs that are looking and who ends up where?
It is so hard right now to figure out who is going to go where because the Chip Kelly thing has been very dramatic. I mean, Florida thought they had him, UCLA thought they had him, and there was a tweet out by a pretty reputable ESPN guy last night that said Chip Kelly may have overplayed his cards with both of those teams, and then Tennessee may have a shot at him. Frankly, I don't know that Chip Kelly is going to be a good fit in the SEC for a couple of reasons. I'm kind of surprised the SEC, the commissioner is okay with Chip Kelly given his past. But I think Tennessee is going to end up with a surprise. I don't know who it'll be. I think Florida is going after Scott Frost right now. If it's not Chip Kelly, I think they'll go after Scott Frost. And I don't know necessarily if that's good or bad. It's still kind of an unknown. I mean, he's done a great job with Central Florida, and I loved watching that game yesterday. It's still Central Florida. They still didn't really play anybody this year, so it's hard to judge that undefeated season. Arkansas, I mean, it sure sounds like, and look, I'm from Alabama. I'm programmed to dislike Auburn, try my best to put down Auburn as often as I can. Man, if you're looking at this with any sense of objectivity, there's no way you can say Arkansas is on the same playing field as Auburn in terms of a program. So why Gus Malzahn would leave Auburn for Arkansas is beyond me, except for the fact Bill Curry did essentially leave Alabama for Kentucky. Sometimes, it just didn't working out. The marriage isn't working for whatever reason, and you want to move on and you want to get a little closer to home, and maybe the expectations are a little lower there, and maybe that's what Gus Malzahn wants. But it sure seems like that's the direction Arkansas wants to go. But you know what? If I were Arkansas, you know what I'd do? And this may sound so silly, and I know that we all laughed about it a while back, but I kind of love the guy. If I were Arkansas, I'd call Lane Kiffin yesterday, and I'd say, what does it take to get you up here? We're going to poke the bear, Nick Saban, as often as we can, and we're going to use you on Twitter and come here and act the fool, but bring us some notoriety. Because the most exciting thing about Brett Bielema's career was watching him gain weight every single season. There was nothing that he brought to the table, because if it was on the table, it was usually going to be eaten, I guess. But there was nothing he brought to the table that made Arkansas exciting. And I think if Lane Kiffin went to Arkansas, it'd be exciting. And then I guess Missouri's going to end up keeping Barry Odom. If I were Ole Miss, I would keep Matt Luke. The players seem to like him. And if you bring somebody else at Ole Miss, they're going to fail. So why not keep Matt Luke for another year or two, let him just fail on his own, and then you can start a rebuild naturally. If you bring somebody else in, they're going to fail because they're about to get hammered. And so you're going to have a lot of problems. At least the players love this guy, and they obviously play hard for him.
Luke, thank you this afternoon, buddy, or this morning, and be careful heading over to Auburn, and I guess good luck to you. We're not giving you too much good luck.
No, I'm not.
We appreciate you calling in this morning.
All right, guys, and look, somebody tweeted out, and I'm going to say this, I don't mean it. I know you won't accept it. It is just a game. So we should all kind of remember that, but I'm going to forget it right now.
Thank you so much, because I just did.
We'll take another break. More Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
The door's open, the beer's cold, and the biscuits are hot at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. Fishing season is in year-round and live bait is available. Non-ethanol gas is available along with propane and pellet ice. So come on by and see what we're all about, where the kitchen is open Monday through Friday early at Foshee Sportz on Dable Road in Alexander City. And tell them old Katie sent you right here from the front porch, WAXC TV.
Lakeside Marina and Watercraft Rentals have spring fever and are happy to announce that Bennington is back. Lakeside Marina at Blue Creek is now Lake Martin's Bennington pontoon dealer with all models of Bennington pontoons that deliver speed, power, and stability with their elliptical sport packages and best-in-class styling and luxury. See the full line now for best selection as well as the all-new personal watercraft from Kawasaki. Lakeside Marina at Blue Creek, #1 for a reason. Lakeside Marina is also your authorized Easy Go kart dealer for Lake Martin.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
LMG Advertising Agency offers a comprehensive marketing solution tailored to each of our clients' needs. We are a full-service marketing firm offering website design and development, video production, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and overall branding that includes logo design, brochures, mailouts, and more. Our experienced team of marketing professionals would love to come up with a marketing strategy that will deliver results for you and your business. Learn more at lmgadagency.com or call today to start at 256-825-0197.
Whether it's a walk-off home run, a game-winning touchdown, or a buzzer beater, make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup. Located in downtown Sylacauga and a short drive from Highway 280, Jay's has the food you're looking for. Whether it's wings, fingers, burgers, or salads, they have it all. Come bring your family for a great meal, come hang out with your friends for the big game, or call them at 256-207-0700 to place your order. Make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup.
The glorious world of live broadcast.
Boy, you trying to send something out 3 ways. So there's bound to determine one's not going to work.
We apologize to all of you out there that caught 17 minutes of He-Man's early morning programming this morning, all throughout here in the Central Alabama region. And this is about what that's the face you gave 10 years ago this year, bro, when Leroy and Sullivan were playing.
I just quit. It was
a jailbreak. And you jumped out of Legion Field.
I've been sitting there. Justin has contributed to many of those aged years.
Yeah, I have been Clayton.
You know, we do not age. It's not wine up here, buddy. This thing don't age better. It don't get better. It gets worse.
What'd you take from Luke's feelings about the game?
Well, let me recap for everybody that heard E-Man. So it didn't hear what Luke had to say. I think he feels about like, all Alabama fans feel. They've got they know what they're, they know what works for them. It's Jalen Hurts on offense, and the offense runs through him, and then Calvin Ridley is a playmaker. And I didn't get a chance to ask Luke this, but he's watching on Facebook Live now, so he can comment. I don't ever remember, and Alabama's got some talented receivers, but even when Amari Cooper was there and Julio Jones was there, they had other targets that you were worried about. And not saying that Auburn's not really worried about any of the other targets, but, man, it's like Calvin Ridley is open all the time, and he's got triple coverage. And everybody knows he's going to get the ball, and he still finds ways to get open. That's what kind of player he is. So I know what Luke said is that Auburn's going to pay a lot of attention to Calvin Ridley, but even when you're paying a lot of attention to Calvin Ridley, he seems to still get open and make plays. It's the scary thing about it, and a lot of that has to do, Randy, with Jalen Hurts being able to scramble around and cause the defense to break down. And Calvin really does a really good job of coming back to Jalen Hurts and catching balls when he's out scrambling around.
I personally think it's more Hurts than it is Ridley.
Yeah.
Ridley's a great player, but the confidence level that Hurts has in him keeps him from going to others. If you had Tua T back there at quarterback, you'd see this thing spread around a little bit.
That's right.
Because he'd be looking for different options. And even the games that we've seen him in the football game, you see different guys. You see a Henry Ruggs, who only has, 7 catches on the season,
That's
5
right.
of them are touchdowns.
I know it.
Think you wouldn't like to get that guy the football a little bit
Of
more?
course.
So I think it's a little bit more of both Jalen Hurts and his confidence level there. And, it's interesting to hear. The offensive line and the defensive line, the play on the lines of scrimmage, even for Alabama fans right now, you go, not sure. And over the last at least 9 years, can you imagine how many of those that Alabama didn't feel really confident that they were going to win the lines of scrimmage?
Well, because they got the best players. And, Auburn on the defensive side of the ball, maybe more than the offensive side of the ball right now, you feel like that if you line Alabama's defensive front up versus Auburn's defensive front right now, Auburn might have a slight edge. And I'm saying slight. I'm not saying like, oh, man, I'd take that line over that line. But, you do have Jeff Holland, who's emerged as one of the elite pass rushers in the country. You got a Derrick Brown in the middle that's a run stopper, and you got a Marlon Davidson that's a freak on the other side of the ball, and you got all the other players that come in. You got Nick Coe that comes in, and you got Dontavius Russell, and you got guys up there that are legit. Randy, the last several years, Auburn's had 1 or 2 guys that you go, okay, that's our guy, but they're strong across the front, and they have depth up there, and that's something that Kevin Steele's done a phenomenal job of doing since he's been here at Auburn, is reshaping the focus of how our defense plays and the way we approach the game.
I'll tell you a part of this football game that I'll be looking for is the blitz packages that Jeremy Pruitt dials up. Alabama's currently ranked 103rd in the country. So that is by far in the bottom 10th of the country. 103rd in the country in sacks. So that defensive front's not been able to put enough pressure on the quarterback to cause disruption. And Jarrett Stidham, in the 2 games that he played poorly, he had people in his face, or he had players in his face
Clemson,
the entire game. Clemson, LSU in the
second half of Clemson, he couldn't do anything.
LSU's confidence level went up. They dialed up pressure. They got to him. And he only completed 1 ball for 6 yards in the entire second half of that football game. And I know that he's gotten better. I'm not trying to spin that. But it tells me, as Jeremy Pruitt, you got to find ways to get to the quarterback and cause some disruption.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question in defense of Jarrett Stidham from a coach's standpoint. So if this is, to me, where I thought Auburn did a very poor job against Clemson. When Clemson continued to bring that rush, why don't you run some plays to combat that a little bit? You saw Central Florida yesterday against South Florida. South Florida finally just gave up the ghost, said, look, we got to blitz. We got to come after him. We can't allow him to sit back there and pick us apart. Well, what did they do when they started blitzing? They kept hitting them with little dump screens. That last one went for a touchdown. I thought Auburn did a better job in the Georgia game.
They did a great job
of combating that rush because, and to me, look, we've said this till we're blue in the face on Auburn Blitz, on this show, on every show. I fully believe for the first time all year, Chip Lindsey called every play in that game against Georgia. It wasn't, first half was Chip Lindsey, Gus Malzahn stepped in the second half. That was a Chip Lindsey called game. And look, you know this as well as anybody. When you got two guys calling plays, I don't care if it's at the high school level or NFL level, an offensive coordinator does things to set other things up later in the game. So if he's running the ball, he's usually doing this to one side to set up a misdirection to the other side. Well, if all of a sudden you get somebody else comes in there and goes, all right, hold on, I want to do this. Well, all that you've worked for a quarter and a half to do is now gone. Now you got somebody else. You hadn't run to set up anything now. Chip Lindsey played that game perfectly against Georgia, and that set up that backdoor screen that went to the house for Kerryon Johnson in the fourth quarter. It was perfect because Georgia got sucked in all game with that flow, and then there was nobody on the backside in the fourth quarter.
I'm going to say a huge compliment to Lane Kiffin. You better write it down because I don't do it too often. But as an Auburn fan watching Lane Kiffin call offense, did you not feel like he was the puppet master up there?
He was, man.
He's the puppet master. He's baiting you in. Next thing you know, I'm going over the top, and I got you suckered in.
That's exactly what a good offensive coordinator does.
He was unbelievable.
And let me tell you another thing, because we got to go to break. Say what you want to about Lane Kiffin. I think he's crazy too. But when he goes on the field, he's unbelievable. Look at what he's done at Florida Atlantic. They didn't start off good this year. They won 7 games. He is a phenomenal coach. And you look at the teams in Florida right now, South Florida, Central Florida, them, Miami, the two that are the worst in the conference in the state are playing each other today. It's Florida State and Florida. They're both 4-6. So he's done a phenomenal job in a state that is tough to win in with those dominant programs. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue these discussions. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Is our number one concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's Trane dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our number one concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
Game day. Last season you were watching football at the mercy of that loathed cable company and your weird roommate with the ornery chinchilla. But today you're going to watch wherever the Wild you want. You go here, Wild Wind Cafe. They've got all the games on more screens than you can count. And cute roommates. This is just the Wild you need. So go wild, superfan. We can't help you choking QB, but we do have cold beer.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Gotta get to Gills. Selection and price. Gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
East Central Alabama asked for it, and Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoors has answered with the region's full-service Mahindra tractor and UTV dealer on Highway 280 in Alex City, next to Tallapoosa Ford. Full lines of Mahindra tractors, E-Max, Max 1500 series to 5500 series. We have the world's #1 tractor line. Get the job done as well with full lines of the world's toughest UTVs and accessories. Visit the all-new Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor in Alex City. True grit never taps out with Mahindra tractors, UTVs, and accessories.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
Two more segments here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I want to thank all of you for tuning in out there as you're heading down Central Alabama, probably down Highway 280, heading over to Auburn, Alabama, where it will be.
Oh, Lord.
It'll be unbelievable, Brett. I want to go back to a few memories. Just some games in your mind at Auburn, that you think the atmosphere will be equal to what we've seen today, just in some that you can remember that you've been to.
Well, 2013 was, I know that's the most recent one for us, but the atmosphere was electric all day. I mean, you could feel it. Nobody envisioned the outcome of that game. Obviously, Auburn had come off an unbelievable finish to Georgia, which I think sparked that atmosphere at Auburn. Well, what happened, it was the biggest beatdown of a ranked opponent, #1 team probably ever, and reminded me of 2004, that year, when Auburn beat Georgia 24-6, and it led in. That was back when it was Georgia at home, Alabama on the road, and vice versa. Now we flipped over and we got both of them at home the same year. But so 2004, Georgia had a great environment. 2013, Alabama was a tremendous environment. Obviously, 1989, if you were around that, I don't have any words to describe. And I was a young kid, and just the excitement and watching what it meant to our parents and our grandparents and all to have Alabama roll into town. I don't know if there'll ever be an environment at Auburn that'll top 1989 again. I mean, we didn't have the technology to capture all that like they do now with sky cams and, like Luke was saying, all these different things and social media, but just the sheer excitement of the student body and those paper shakers. When you walked out of the stadium, you were blowing orange and blue stuff out of your nose because you breathed it all in. There was a haze over the student section that day that was just, I mean, that's an environment like none other. Now, Andy and I went down our favorite games, I know, yesterday because I wasn't on the show at all last week, and I know y'all talked about them too. And I told him, I said, I can't just have one. I got three, and I got three reasons, and I'll go through them real quick. Obviously, you and I sitting there in 2013 to kick six, we may never see another play like that in our lifetime. Nobody ever may do it. 86, Lawyer Tillman reverse is one that just stands out because I remember in 85 how bad it hurt. In 86, you got to see that first win that you could remember. So that was a big one. In 97, I was on the sideline. And I was standing on the sideline, on Alabama's sideline, working in media relations. I was in Alabama's tunnel. That was back when you ran out on both sides, not in the middle. And I was standing down there with Eric Lowe, who had been injured in the game, and Alabama had the ball, and they were just basically running the clock out. And I thought to myself, here I am standing on this daggum field, the first time Alabama's going to roll in here and win, and here I am standing down there, I got to deal with this. And then I had my back turned, and all of a sudden I heard the roar. And Eric Lowe grabbed me and said, we got the ball, we got the ball, we got the ball. So I turn around and I see Martavius Houston running off, and I'll never forget that. And Jared Holmes kicking that field goal, it was kind of our version of Van Tiffen. But Alabama gets the ball back and they get a personal foul. It's this one makes a play, and then we get a personal foul, face mask, and goes 15 yards, and all of a sudden they're lining up for a long field goal. I'm like, man, they're about to Van Tiffen us here at home. And I remember standing down there underneath the goalpost watching the ball, and I knew when it was kicked on TV, a lot of people thought he made it. But as soon as he kicked it, I knew it was short, and we all ran on the field. And it just that kind of stuff, I'll never forget those games.
I watched a bit of the 85 game, watched Auburn take that football, move it down. Bo Jackson has a great end to his Iron Bowl career in that last drive. Right. And then Alabama with Mike Shula puts together a drive, and you're watching the seconds tick, and that pass on that crossing pattern and the additional, and I think it was Bell was the last name, but additional 8 to 10 yards he was able to pick up down that right sideline.
That's right.
And sneak his way out of bounds. And there's no Auburn fan in the world that thought that Van Tiffin at that time. Van Tiffin, in my memory, and maybe it's this 85 kick, but even before then, in my memory, he's one of the best kickers we've seen in this rivalry.
Oh, sure, there's no doubt.
He steps up out there, and he knocks it as fluid as you can knock one through, Brett. And that's one that many Alabama fans, and that's coming off a wrong way Bo in 84, where Auburn wins in 82 and 83. Wrong way Bo in 84. Missed kick by McGinty there. Duck hook that we have there, and a 17-15 Alabama win. So that was a great stretch. 82 to 85, 2 wins for Auburn, 2 wins for Alabama. Both of them winning games that we didn't expect the other to win. Like 82, nobody thought Auburn was going to win that football game, did they?
No.
84,
nobody thought Alabama was going to win. They had a losing record going into the game. That just shows you this rivalry, and one of recent memory for Auburn fans that stands out like that is the 2002 Iron Bowl. When we go up there with a decimated backfield, nobody expected Auburn to even have a chance in that football game, and Auburn ends up winning the game 17-7. And it just nobody even those games are rarities because normally the better team wins the game, but you do have those instances, 17-15 Alabama over Auburn, where Auburn was a lot better team that year. Alabama was last in the conference in offense, found a way to get the win that day. And again, it had to do more with Auburn making mistakes and not doing what they need to do to win the game more than what Alabama did. But if you go out and play bad in these games, it'll burn you.
2009 is another win for Alabama that was that way. Much better Alabama football team.
Oh, gosh.
You see even Gene Chizik, who was giving his Iron Bowl memories, and it was kind of jumped out at me as he said, we weren't anywhere near as good as them. It's a head coach of Auburn saying that now, and even when you read it, you're like, yeah, you even knew.
Oh, of course.
You even knew it at that time, but Auburn gets a big play there in the early part of the game, gets an onside kick, has a couple of score lead. Alabama just doing what they did that year, just prodding back and getting that touchdown pass in that right corner of the end zone and win the football game 26-21. Julio Jones was a superstar.
Yeah, he was.
Julio Jones was a superstar in 2010 too, buddy.
Julio Jones is a superstar in 2017 in the NFL. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, I know we probably overutilize this phrase a lot, once-in-a-lifetime player, but Julio Jones is a once-in-a-lifetime receiver. Cam Newton is a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback. You don't see – Bo Jackson's a once-in-a-lifetime running back. I mean, how many running backs have we seen come through since him? But my wife's uncle is the biggest Alabama fan you will find on planet Earth, and he said his favorite college football player to date is Bo Jackson. He said, I have never seen a human being do what that guy did. He said, you got to give props to that guy. He said, Bo Jackson, he said, we'll never see another player like him ever in our lifetime.
We'll go ahead and take another break. We'll come back. We'll close out the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn?
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag, and kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
When you're born, you're really young. You're like 0 years old. My grandma tells me to quit growing up so fast. But what can I do about it? My mom keeps throwing me birthday parties.
Russell Medical, comprehensive care in your corner of the world.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service, always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Last segment here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Got about 8 minutes left here in the program, and we've been running down some memories, and we'll stay down memory lane here on the last segment. But let's move back into the football game also, Brett.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we'll go ahead and give our predictions. We won't wait till the last second. Jim wanted to know. I said on Auburn Blitz yesterday, my prediction's 31-20 Auburn. I feel like at the end of and I think Auburn will score a touchdown late to push it over the top. It'll be. I think Luke feels the same way about Alabama. I think he feels like Alabama. It'll be close, and then Alabama will score a touchdown, push it over the top. And obviously, we're hoping for our sides to be the team that does that. But I feel like I really feel like Jarrett Stidham will be the difference for Auburn today. I do. Auburn, when they have good quarterback play, they win football games. And I know stats and figures and all that can get overblown, but I do think there is something to Nick Saban being 0-6 against good Auburn football teams. I told Andy yesterday, I said, the only problem I've got is that we're just not good enough more. And, it's like, well, every time Auburn's 9+ wins, we do good. And the problem is we have a great year and 2 or 3 dump years, and then we come back and have a great year and 2 or 3 dump years, or average years. So, maybe we can continue the streak. Win or lose today, Randy, maybe we can go to a bowl game if we lose and end on a high note and come back next year and continue to build this recruiting class. Maybe Gus Malzahn stays and there's no turnover, and we can continue to build and have another good year next year, not have a fall off. But if we win, I think it's way beyond anything we thought we could do after the LSU game. I think we had high expectations coming into this season. I mean, Auburn was highly ranked and had a lot of people believing they were a playoff team at the beginning of the year. Well, guess what? We're in position to be a playoff team right now.
I'm going to go about 35-27 Auburn, and I think that it has the potential. I could see it go both ways. I just do not believe this is going to be a very low-scoring football.
I don't either.
I think that Alabama will get some things done offensively. They'll hit some deep balls, but I'm with you. I think that the issues with the injury bug for Alabama at least leaves the middle part of that defense susceptible to running the football.
I agree with you.
If Auburn cannot run the football to start this football game, it's going to be tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can write it off. I think the other side, too, most of the time, the team that wins this game runs the football better. I know it didn't happen in 2009. Auburn muscled up and stopped Mark Ingram. He only had 47 yards rushing in that game. Alabama was still able to win it because they were good enough in other areas. And like Gene Chizik said, and like you said, Auburn just wasn't as good a team. Well, I think Auburn, talent-wise on the field, is equal to Alabama in a lot of positions. Alabama's better in some positions than us, and I think we're better in some positions than they are. So it equals out. Jim wants to know, will Chip Lindsey be able to control Bama's defense? I think if he's left alone, yes. I think if he's left alone to call the plays from first play to the end of the game, he'll set Alabama up later on in the game. Like Luke said about all the motions and all the crossings and all, you get to seeing all that stuff, then all of a sudden you go, well, that guy's run that motion 7 times in a row. He ain't going to take the handoff. And the one time you think he's not going to take it is when Auburn gives it and they bust a big play. So, yeah, I think if he's left alone, Jim, he'll have the opportunity
and
to control.
I'll take the Alabama side here. I think that if you're an Alabama fan heading over, then you feel good about, first, Nick Saban, of course, but Jeremy Pruitt. Jeremy Pruitt has Auburn's. He's got Gus Malzahn's number.
Yeah.
Only giving up about 17 points per game to Gus Malzahn-led teams, less than 300 total yards per game against Gus Malzahn-led teams.
He gave up 499 in the national championship game, though, in Florida State. I mean, Auburn ate him up in that game, and it was mistakes on Auburn's side, and another Gus Malzahn shut her down in the second half. You were there in person to watch it. If Auburn had just kept the pedal to the metal, Auburn wins that football game. Auburn got conservative just like it did in the LSU game. I'm just hoping Gus Malzahn's learned his lesson. He almost blew it in the Georgia game that year, Randy. We were up 20 in the fourth quarter, shut it down. Georgia comes back, takes the lead. Everybody goes, well, Auburn won that game on a miracle pass. Well, they did win on a miracle pass, but it should never come down to that. Auburn was dominating Georgia in that football game. So, yes, Jeffrey Haynes put it on here. That Jeremy Pruitt more times than not has had Gus Malzahn's number, but Auburn gashed him pretty bad in the national championship game.
You brought up something that I'll close out. Is there a player in this football game that you watch and you go, he can put his name along with a lot of other great players that have played in this rivalry, but this game right here is one that makes Julio Jones's. This game right here is one that makes Bo Jackson's. This game right here is one that makes Van Tiffin's. Mm-hmm. Which 2 players would you expect for Auburn? And I'll say one for Alabama that I expect to put their name right up there in that mix.
2 players for Auburn are Kerryon Johnson and Daniel Carlson. I think Daniel Carlson is the best kicker in the country. I know he's hadn't had the year that we've all expected, but, man, the man's perfect. We're expecting perfection. I mean, he is human. They call him Legatron for a reason. I think he could be a difference maker in this game. I don't like Auburn settling for field goals all the time, Randy, but you take points when you get them. We got to get in the end zone. And I like Kerryon Johnson this game. You know, all Kerryon Johnson's heard in his career is he's not tough and he's not physical. He gets hurt and, you know, he can't finish the season. He could put his name on this rivalry today for Auburn.
2 for Alabama that I'll say.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, of course, there at quarterback. Jalen Hurts is the X factor on that offensive side. You can play everything perfectly, and he glides his way to a 40-yard game.
Right.
You can play everything perfectly, and it be 3rd down and 12, and he pick up 14,
exactly.
i.e. Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts is a super player. Plays great in this football game. Didn't play great in the one last year.
That's right. Had 2 picks in the first half. We couldn't make him pay for it.
Plays great in this football game, then he cements himself as one of the top, and he's breaking a lot of records over there. And I know he's only a sophomore, but it's getting to that point. On the defensive side of the ball for Alabama, it's Minkah Fitzpatrick.
No doubt.
Minkah Fitzpatrick's had some nagging injuries to close out the season, but something tells me today in this football game he's going to have a lot of opportunities back there at the safety position to make some plays. Auburn's going to try over the top. Auburn's going to try to run the football up the gut. Can that safety be someone that makes plays not only in the run game, but also makes plays in the passing game? Minkah Fitzpatrick's going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. He's one that, he's coming out after this year.
Oh, yeah, this is it.
So he can cement his legacy there at Alabama with a huge football game today. That's where we are.
That's it.
That's what it is. It's the Iron Bowl. You make history. You either Chris Davis it, or you on the other end.
Or you McGinney it.
You McGinney it.
And transfer to Florida and beat you the next year. Couple comments coming down as we end, Randy. If Chip Lindsey leaves, do you think Gus will pick up Hugh Freeze? Possibly. I mean, they're best friends, and Hugh Freeze won't stay out of coaching long. You know how this, if you can forgive Bobby Petrino, you can forgive Hugh Freeze. Daniel Carlson, game changer, will field position in the kicking game. Carlson throws a pass today, ? I don't know. Everything gets thrown out in Knicks. You can bank on a halfback pass out of Auburn today at some point in time.
Thanks for tuning in here on the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Be careful. Have a good time. For Brett Pritchard and Michael Forehand back there producing, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Even the best of us forget sometimes. But buckling up is one thing you always want to remember.
Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Lake Area Realty is Lake Martin's Century 21 real estate company that proudly serves all the Lake Martin area. Rhonda Gaskin and her staff of caring professional realtors offers full sales for buyers and sellers in the area and can even help you with finding rentals or managing your current property. Whether it's your dream lake home, waterfront property, area family home in town, or just a starter home, Lake Area Realty can handle it all and advise you on all your needs. Buying and selling real estate is important to the professionals at Century 21. Lake Area Realty are your friends in real estate. Call or visit lakearearealty.net.
If you knew that underage drinking starts at younger ages than ever before, even in elementary school,